All right. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't you like this? Have y'all ever listened to a podcast?
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
yeah.
No, okay, so I scrolled through and I saw just Beach Bum, Head Bump, and I was like, all right, there's music. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's for me.
And then I heard this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Something like a little beach bum dance.
This is like our just the canned music. We haven't actually put in any real good music.
Yeah.
This is just
Go with
what
whatever
came with
comes
the
I
board.
think this is good.
But we've just
great.
kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah. But it's groovy, man.
Absolutely.
Makes you feel good.
Very.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, of course.
thank
Thank
you
you
guys.
guys. Yeah.
We got Dylan and Blaine
Yes.
from Coastal Worldwide.
Coastal Worldwide.
Is
Yep.
worldwide coastal or coastal worldwide?
Coastal Worldwide.
Okay, so I said that right.
Put the coast first.
Coast.
You know,
Yeah, that's
right
right.
in your heart.
Absolutely.
Coast, baby. Worldwide. Who was it that was worldwide? The rapper.
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
Who was that?
What's his
No.
name? Who?
Pitbull.
Pitbull. That's right. That's right. I want every time I say I want to say it like that. Worldwide. You know, however you do that. Anyway.
I'm going to take a vote here real quick.
Yeah.
So we're working on a podcast booth. We're going to have a much bigger table.
Yes.
We're like,
This is cool. This is cool.
Yeah,
we're like jam-packed in here.
Sausage fest
some
here.
Oh, God. Knees are touching, but
And are you sure that's your name?
If you feel anything funny. Sorry.
Positive here. Well, we've got these guys on the podcast that, man, they've done some crazy stuff.
Yes.
So if
A
you
lot
don't-
of crazy stuff.
Yeah, if you don't know, what was your previous channel? Can we say that? Can we say like what the previous channel was? Are we allowed
I mean,
to?
we used to be on a previous channel, and I don't want to. I no longer own it.
Okay.
And so
Don't wanna
maybe
promote it.
best not-
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
not that I don't want to promote it. I hope
Sure.
they do great, but I don't know if there's like
Yeah.
Any- okay.
step on toes.
You may
Well,
remember these guys.
you may
though.
remember
They've
from
been
a
around
different
since-
channel.
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2019.
Back up and running at it.
That's right. And known mostly for, I mean, you do a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
mostly for land-based shark fishing.
Yeah, that was our bread and butter, and it was. I mean, when I started, I was a young guy, and so you got to do what the budget does.
You
and-
still look pretty young. How old are you?
27.
27? Okay.
He's the baby over here.
How old are you, Blaine?
20.
Really?
Yep.
Dang, man.
Little kid.
So I offered you a beer earlier. I did not
way
know.
to go.
I did not know that you were underage.
That's trying to contribute
no
to a
idea.
minor over here.
Did not know. I'm not used to hanging out with people that are like not legal.
Yeah, it's like you just assume like you want one, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's funny. I've been shark fishing with you. It's been a little bit. I've been a few different times. Only one time I caught like a
A sandbar.
we caught a sandbar. I think it was like 7 or 8 foot, something
Yep.
like that. It was pretty sweet. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was a cool experience.
Definitely cool. But before that, I have done a little bit of shark fishing myself, not knowing what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah,
I had
no.
a sin senator, a
be a
pin
sin.
senator 4-aught.
Oh yeah.
little deal.
Oh yeah.
But we would catch black tips and stuff with it. But I would kayak the baits out. Me and my buddy would go and
dude.
we'd put on like a little bluefish or half a bluefish or
This is
something.
pre-YouTube.
Yes, like I wasn't even doing YouTube. Like this was just I knew this
Straight
would,
up passion.
Yes, like we just drug a dang kayak out there that he had, and we caught some black tips. We caught like 3 one night.
Heck yeah.
This is a long time ago, but he was into it. But I know, like, okay, so the scariest freaking thing to me is kayaking a dang bait out at night in pitch black dark. It's bloody. You
Yeah.
got like scupper holes. You're like freaking chumming in, and like. There could be great whites out there. You know what I mean? Like how
sure?
yeah, we little foreshadowing. But like that is ballsy. And I've seen some of the crap that you guys kayak in. Like I don't know, I wouldn't go unless it's like, slick, calm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've seen some of that crap. So
I don't even want to go at night if it's slick.
yeah. So
I mean,
like,
the night kayaking thing, that's kind of like, I mean, you think about the number of shark attacks in our area, which is very few. This is my thought process of I'm not going to get eaten, okay? And so there's very few shark attacks, and then, there's no sharks in our area that are like, the great whites breach through a ice patch where the lonely seal's waiting and gets launched in the air, So in my mind, the percentages are so small of it actually happening.
well, they are, but I'll throw this little caveat in there.
Okay.
The chances of you getting struck by lightning obviously are pretty low.
Right.
But if you go and stand outside in every lightning storm, Your chances are probably a bit higher.
My chances,
I don't know if this is wood or not, but y'all better start knocking.
Like the chances of you two getting attacked by a shark are much higher than any other human being on this
we'll
planet.
call it murked. We'll call it murked by a shark.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we definitely increase our chances. So you guys at home, we're taking the percentage. From you guys. We'll take everybody's percentage.
Taking the load
Yeah,
off.
I mean,
There
it's
you
just
go.
it's not a big deal. But no, it's most of the time it's a mental thing. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. It doesn't bother me. The biggest fear I have, honestly, is just getting like separated from the kayak and really rough surf at night.
Yeah.
You go out and you just get, and it's not even. That's just like. That's inconvenient. I have to swim 100 yards and my kayak's like all the way at the beach now. And then of course my guide on the beach, whoever it is they're like, "Oh, is he dead? Is he dead?" I gotta wait 20 minutes.
He's gone.
Yeah.
What
It
happened?
could be inconvenient to pack up without him. No. But I know Blaine. He's a little bit newer into it. He's been with us for a couple of years now, and now he's the owner. But he definitely has like. It's calm at night, and he comes back, and I'm like, that was so like such a sick paddle. I like being out there. It's dark. It's calm. You don't hear the beach waves. You're away from all the condos. stuff
Sure.
like that. I like it. He'll come back and be like, dude, that was kind of weird. That was eerie. You know, I could see the bottom at night, and I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I don't,
I'd prefer it to be rough when I'm kayaking.
Really?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just
I
want
think
to hear
it's
some
weird. I
noise
think
and
it's weird.
stuff.
Not like super rough to where I can't get past the second bar or anything, but when I'm out there and there's wave action, it's like
Kind of
I'm
calms you down.
I'm not gonna see it coming if like on the off.
But when it's calm, you hear it and see
You
it.
can
Yeah,
do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't even get the chance to see if it's rough, and that's what I prefer. At
Yeah.
least.
Ideally, you don't see it coming. Here we go.
You did, Dylan, have an interesting nighttime kayak story.
Oh my god!
you wanna talk about that
See,
for a
there
second.
you go. You want to talk
Yeah.
about like over the years, the only humans.
This is crazy.
People.
I don't know if
are
you've
the-
ever heard
the
this
big-
I don't
not.
think so.
Yeah, so we were in Navarre, Florida. We're running a trip, completely normal night, super calm, whatever. We caught a couple sharks, and we just hear like some screaming, and I'm just like, people are like drunk, whatever, on the beach. And then like we hear it like coming from the south.
Sorry, I didn't mean to breathe into that. No.
Darth Vader. That's amazing.
Sorry, go ahead.
And so we hear it coming from the south. We identify it coming from out in the ocean. So we were like, okay, that was weird, So between shore breaks, we're kind of listening, and there was one moment where we could just hear like, "Help me!" And it was like,
Snap.
yeah, like bone chilling. That's what exactly we were like. Oh, like I have to do something. So I'm gonna try to like go out there and help him or whatever. So I have no idea what's going on. I jump in the kayak. and start to go. Blaine has the reel go off. So that now I know like there's no like, hey Blaine, like this is bad, call the cops. Like he's got a reel screaming and he's
Because
got
y'all
like,
are also running a charter, right?
yeah. So the clients were super cool. They were like, hey, you go, we'll handle this, we'll help him with the leader, whatever he needs. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go out there and I'm paddling, and as I'm going, I'm kind of like checking the horizon down a little bit to see his like silhouette, and then kept popping up and going towards him. And as I get closer, there's like twice that I stop. Halfway out, I stop and I go, okay, what if this dude is out here like he's gonna stab me or something, or like he's having
yeah.
like a mental break,
For real.
Because it's like if you go out and swim to save somebody, they could end up drowning you,
That-
not even like meaning
Yeah,
to.
you're
And
supposed
so
to
I-
like knock them out.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah, so-
like if they're panicking, you're supposed to literally just
yeah,
like
knock them out
really?
and then
Yeah,
take them.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's like what you're.
That's the protocol.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I go out there. So I'm heading out there. I stop and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make this dude. Like it sounds bad, but I'm gonna make this dude holler one more time to really make sure. Or I'm turning around and I stop, and then I hear like, somebody please, and it was like just like hands stare up. I'm like, I gotta go. So I get in, I start booking it. I turn my light on. I get close enough to him where I can kind of see him pretty well. I'm like, hey man, if you need help, like say something or something like that. And I was like, he didn't say anything. And I was like, oh crap, 600 yards from the beach. This dude's not responding. I can see him. He's acting like I can't see him. So I was like, I start kind of get like,
Sure.
you're fight or flight.
Yeah,
so I puff my chest up a little bit. I'm like, hey, say something.
Hey, bro. You know.
Yeah, I came out here to save you. Like, say something, bro. And he just looks at me and he goes, leave me the F alone.
Oh, what?
And I was like, hey, bro, what do you mean? And I was like, I'll try one more time. I came out here to save you. If you need help, say something. And he was like, I said, leave me the F alone. And I was like, gone. No way.
Enough of that.
So yeah, I just left, and he like on the way out, he had his headlamp on me and everything like that, kind of like waving and stuff. As soon as they got close, he cut it off, and I was just like, oh, I've been trapped.
Yeah.
The heck with the
That's
shark,
sketchy.
this
So-
dude.
so
And so what
what the
happened
heck?
was,
Like-
I turned around, I come back, I'm watching this dude. He starts paddling back to the beach, perfectly fine.
So
And then-
he was in a kayak.
yeah, he was in a kayak. So he gets to the beach, and an ambulance shows up, and they're there for like an hour and a half, and then they leave. Ambulance leaves. And the only thing I can think of, like on a serious note, without trying to like judge somebody, because everybody goes through different things.
Sure.
And he could have been in a weird. In Navarre, they do a lot of like shooting like missiles and like what would you call that? Like experimental like military projects.
Testing.
So that night it was just like boom, 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 boom. So if that dude is some sort of, he's having like a PT, he's out there trying to
Sure.
hang out. He's an ex-military guy, and that's kind of like flipping him. He may have thought like,
Sure.
what's like going
Right.
into an episode. And then when I get
This is
out
true.
there, that may have been maybe an embarrassment moment where he's like, hey, just leave me alone. And that's why we've talked about it on a few different videos stuff like that, but I never like wanted to air that video.
Sure.
I have video of the chest pound stuff like that, and I was like, that's not
Yeah.
my place. But yeah, that was like the heck with the shark and the guy. There was
Right.
a moment where I was like, I want to fight a human being, and I'm not very good at fighting, so probably gonna lose.
Especially
in a
water
kayak.
warfare.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that'd be an interesting fight.
Very, very
there.
awkward.
is Sparta.
So
Yeah.
Blaine, did y'all catch the shark?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was a sandbar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before or
yeah.
after he got back?
Before.
Before.
Way before he
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
back and they had like caught it and recently showed me pictures. And like, cool, you almost got attacked. Like we caught a shark.
Well, daggone, man. Yeah, that's sketchy.
Interesting
Dude.
night.
That kind of makes my hair stand up just thinking
Right.
about that. Like, that's just kind of weird.
It was definitely weird, but yeah, not my situation.
So what is so you guys do a lot of like what would be considered extremely uncomfortable and scary to the majority of human beings on this
Yeah,
planet.
exactly.
What to you is the most nerve-wracking part of what you do?
Oh goodness, I would think like as far as guiding goes, like nerve wracking would just be client satisfaction. So like you guys have charted.
So,
no.
all right,
The
so,
whole shark fishing is
like,
most
all right,
worried
so
about client
you know, it's
satisfaction.
kayaking and rough surf with a bloody bait in the pitch black dark, 700 or 800 yards off the beach, handling
Handling a great
you,
white.
you know 10 and
tiger
12
sharks.
foot
They're making
beasts.
fun of me.
What are you most concerned with? Client satisfaction.
No, honestly, I mean, I think all through my life, I guess like a little insight on my mind here is all through my life, I've always been able to like, from a young age, I've had to handle myself. So I've been responsible for a lot of things, at an early age. And so if it's putting myself in danger or you have to get another bait out or you have to go through big waves or you have to get out there and handle this hammer so he doesn't die on a good release and stuff like that, that's just like, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I can do that. But the things out of my control is what I tend to have problems with, and that catching, we only have maybe 10% of the trips over a year not catch, but that's just like, dude, that's the worst.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
does suck.
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, so I've been that kid that has come down here with like the world of expectations,
Right.
been on charters and let down, and I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And and when there's kids there, dude, it's like
Oh yeah,
Stabs you right in the heart.
yeah. I mean, I get it from
I'd
a
rather
guiding
be
standpoint.
like bitten in the hand than like have a kid cry. We've had kids like crying,
Oh,
like
my
leaving.
gosh.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah,
That
dude,
sucks.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, aw.
yeah, dang,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Feel
just kick
nice
me in the
and
shin next
worthless.
time. Yeah.
That is pretty scary. I'll give you that. But watching some of your videos, and I watched this most recent one, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But like when you're in the water and you're releasing that thing and you're like standing by its head, I'm just like, no, I would not be in that position.
That's how I felt the first time I went with them and we caught that dusky shark. I was like scared to get in and touch and mess with and stuff, but you realize after that fight, like the shark's tired. Like
Right.
it's not gonna
Sure.
like whip around and
Its
bite you at
priority
that
is
point.
getting home. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Blaine
the next
helped
time-
you with both of those,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the second time wasn't nearly as bad. Ran in there and got in there with them, but
I think you were
I'm
more
still not
worried about-
crazy about like grabbing its face and pulling the hook out of its
Yeah,
mouth.
trying to
but
dehook and stuff like that.
that's
We'll
still
get
a
you on
little
the third
sketch.
shark. You'll dehook your own shark. So
Yeah.
there we go.
And then on the fourth one, y'all don't help me do anything.
We'll just
Solo.
Be the Brad shark fisherman.
So you guys are running charters like full time now?
Yep,
Pretty much?
yep. We're
Okay.
full time, so we got the website launched and all the social media and stuff like that. So yeah, we've been taking some people out, and it's been, Brad was our first like client. Brad, we haven't gotten that payment yet.
Oh,
No, I'm
man.
just kidding. I'm
Don't
just kidding.
stifle, man.
No, but
kinda
yeah,
nice.
Brad was our first like mock up. We've been doing it for a while, so we're good. And so
Sure.
it was like 11-foot dusky and a 10-foot tiger. And so it was like
Same
back to
day.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the clients came right after you.
Oh, I was
so-
about to say you didn't cut.
They
catch
had
tiger.
so I fished with them one night, and I was there till I don't know noon or something. We caught that dusky probably like
It was like
it was actually
1 or
like 1
2,
o'clock
yeah.
because the parade was starting at 2. We caught it like 1 o'clock, and then y'all had a trip that started like
3
right
o'clock,
after I
yeah.
left, and then they caught that tiger shark.
I think it was like if that dude had showed up on time because he was running a little bit late, it would have been like mid fight of the dusky shark. It would have been like real awkward, like, oh, this is.
Right.
Which, lucky enough, he is a huge fan of you. The
Oh,
guy
really?
that we took out.
Yeah,
That's
we
funny.
could have got away with any of it. He'd been like, as long as I get to watch you, it's cool.
That's funny.
That's
you
awesome.
should have taken him up on that one, man.
I know,
That'd
right?
be nice. So have y'all caught a mako? Have y'all done that?
Yeah, once.
Scratch that one off the
Back
list.
in 2020. Yeah.
Did you eat some of it?
When they were illegal to catch,
Yeah,
right?
back
Yeah.
when they were illegal to keep. Now they're not. They're for
Like, oh,
protected
for,
species.
for real?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
Locked
news.
them up.
They're
all
federal
X's.
protected now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody can keep them like nowhere.
Yeah, from a research standpoint, the numbers are there for NOAA. It's not as much in our Gulf waters, but they're doing Atlantic and Gulf. And so, we kind of got stiffed, quote unquote. But as far as the overall fishery in the United States goes, it was probably a good move for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're fun to catch, and so it'd be cool if in 5 or 6 years the population comes back. It's kind of like the cobia thing and stuff like that. Like
Right.
if you're catching more and you still have to release them, it'll be cool for a while, and then eventually they'll probably open it back up. But yeah, one of the best tasting fish
That's what I've heard.
over yellowfin tuna, swordfish, any
Never
of it.
had it.
Mako shark.
And I guess I won't be getting it anytime soon.
yeah, yeah, you're gonna have
Well, I
to
guess
take a flight.
I guess
Not
you
legally.
can still legally harvest in California.
Yeah, because they go under a DFT handbook, so they go under a different.
So you'd have to
set
go
of
to California if you want to do that.
regulations. Go to
Yeah.
Cali.
Do they catch many out there?
Yeah,
But they're, I think, the majority are pretty juvenile.
like literally
Really,
Makos.
really small.
Which is also super sick.
was-
Imagine getting cast out bites here instead of black tips. You're catching like 3-foot Makos.
That would
Yeah.
be that
They're
would be
like
sick.
skying and stuff.
Yeah, dude, they're jumping and flipping.
And can you keep that size? Do you know? What
I
the
have no
regulations
idea.
are?
So-
Because I bet they're
know the
delicious.
regulations.
You know,
Oh, they've got to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, give me a baby. You know, it's gonna taste amazing.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No,
Stop.
What the Austin Powers? I could eat the whole baby. Yeah. Something like that.
I don't know. You're too old for us.
I am too
Oh,
old for
no.
y'all. Yeah. So you've been to California though, haven't you?
Yeah, we've
did
been
you
a
do trip
couple times.
out there?
Yeah. So we went last summer. We'll be posting the videos. We went to like San Diego and then Oregon, Washington, Valdez, Alaska, Montana, New Mexico, and then back to California.
And both y'all did something that's pretty freaking sweet, and that is land-based halibut,
Oh, dude.
which is
yeah.
insane.
How
I didn't
big-
even
how
know
big-
like that was such thing.
How
We
big were they?
didn't either.
Like full on halibut?
Yeah,
Like,
mine was 100 pounds. and
What?
His was like 85.
from land?
From the beach.
I did
yeah.
not know that. Like,
Dude,
on
we
the-
pull up out there and we are shark gear, kayak and baits. And there's all of these charter boats going out, stuff like that. And they're going, 20 miles offshore.
Right.
And there's some dudes that pull up and they're like, what are you doing? Like land-based halibut. He's like, that's some big gear. He's like, you guys plan on catching like anything? And they're like, yeah. Like, we'll definitely do it. We just got to get the pattern down and stuff like that. And the dude just like, I've been living here for 30 years. You're not going to catch squat. But good luck with that. Literally, that's what he said. Then he comes back the next day and then we're like, hey, guess what we caught last night? Showed him a picture and he was like, that's not from here. That's not from here."
What? Oh my gosh, man.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So y'all use shark
I think-
gear, like kind of the shark.
Yeah,
I
it was
used
a-
my 80 narrow.
I think
Yeah.
Dylan, there's Dylan's.
Good gracious.
So
So
it was wild.
could you
Insane.
recreate this? Like if we went back out there, could you?
I would like
make that happen?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. So how far were you kayaking the baits out?
Like 70, 80 paddles, maybe 100, 120.
Yeah, I think I went like 150 on mine just
like
because
max. Short drop here. I mean, maybe as far as like 100 to 200 yards max.
So
and we
that's
were
not
doing
that
some
far.
on spinning
No.
gear too. Yeah.
What were you using for bait?
We had, so the guy who kind of facilitated the start of the trip with us from Terra Firma Tackle, Spencer Wonder, he brought all the bait from Cali because we didn't fly with any bait and we drove from Cali. And so he brought like a bunch of like Sierra mackerel and like weird little fish baits and stuff like that. But you could show up there and like, we showed up at a shop there and got like, dude gave us a trash bag full of like a giant squid in
Damn.
Alaska. We just were
Octopus.
cutting tentacle
Chunks.
Yeah,
it was an
octopus.
octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What this
That was super.
Something with
we called it
tentacles.
squish.
Some kind of animal.
Yeah. By the time we got to Alaska, though, we put 12,500 miles on a Toyota Tacoma in 2.5 weeks.
Dang.
And it was, so by the time we got to Alaska, there was a lot of like, if I didn't have film, I'm not sure I'd remember a lot of the memories because there was just a lot of like,
Like a blur.
Yeah, hook your bait. And the sun doesn't set. So it's like doing this. Yeah. So it's like 3
We
o'clock.
could definitely
it's like
take the
Twilight
Bummobile
Zone.
over there.
Yeah,
Across the
it'll
country.
make it.
Yeah.
It's got a good
We should do that.
300,000
I
miles.
do
left
not
on it.
recommend driving through Canada.
Just
No.
fly. No.
Yeah, why not?
Boring.
44 hours on West Canada where the gas stations are spread apart, 360 miles. So a Tacoma tank does like 355.
so
I'm talking-
you're like coasting in.
And there's no
everything.
service. So if you run out of gas,
just-
there's no one to help you besides like the bears. So like it was, there was a couple times where it was like, we're all having fun and like this is like, we're just be dudes, bro. Let's get dude stuff. And then there was like, we're going over a hill and it's like 2 miles to empty. And like somebody got barely a little bit of service and the next gas station 6 miles. And we're like, this isn't funny anymore because it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, oh,
That's
I'm not having fun anymore.
So I guess the lesson learned is like take gas cans with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Most
stopped and got
definitely.
one. And the second gas stop, if we didn't have the gas can, we would have made it. Yeah. It was-
Dang.
Jeez.
So just fly to Alaska.
Yeah,
I think I'll do that.
that sounds like the better route to
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
So is that? I saw those 2 pictures. Did y'all just catch 2, or did y'all catch more than that?
We caught, I think, five
total
overall.
Yeah. None that big. Yeah, the 2 were. I mean, one was like 40 and 50, and then
Which is still an incredible fish.
yeah. That's
I mean,
the
for
thing.
I mean,
Yeah, a lot of guys go out there and kayak fish and stuff like that too, and that's kind of how we looked through it, and Spencer looked through a lot of like research articles and stuff like that, and it was just basically like they're tagged and they're caught here, like in kayaks within a mile, so why wouldn't they be 200 yards
Yeah,
off on the
he
right
saw
tide
other
swings?
pictures of people catching them from the surf on spin gear. I mean, they were like this big, but he was like, if we go out on another 100 yards, that's a whole different class of fish. So.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to different people
That's
too,
crazy.
they were like, yeah, every year we hook a couple that just, something spools us every year. And it's like, oh, we can catch a fish. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go
right.
catch that one. And so Blaine did, yeah, and it was unreal. That's cool.
So were they in
That's impressive.
season? Did you get to eat them?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
so
we kept a small one.
we kept like a 30-pounder. Yeah, we released Blaine's big one, my big one, because it was just like so much, like off that 30-pounder, we even had to like, there was eagles everywhere, like bald eagles everywhere and all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. So we were like throwing like halibut meat to the eagles because there wasn't any left.
That's
yeah.
illegal. That's illegal.
Yeah. Well, it was Alaska.
Yeah.
Is anything illegal in Alaska? You offered beer to a
That
miner.
is the United States.
Yeah. He who cast the first stone.
There we go. Everyone put down your weapons.
So did y'all catch any sharks as well while you're out there? Or?
We tried.
Well, because they don't they have like leopard sharks in that?
No,
They're like dog sharks. or
dog
something like
tooth
that.
or dog fish sharks or something like
Yeah,
that.
dog
But
fish.
what we went for is the second leg of the Alaska thing was we chartered a boat that this ragtag shop, this dude basically gave us a boat for 6 days and didn't ask where we were going and just had us sign a release waiver that said if we died, somebody had to sign, literally like we put his dad's name, my parents' name, that like if we didn't come back with the boat in 6 days, who was paying for the boat? Like someone that was like actually alive. And we were like, we're going like 40 miles offshore. He's like, I don't care. Just bring the boat back. And if you don't, like I just need a contact number of somebody who can pay for the boat. And so he just like sent us out. And so we take this boat out
That's
to this like
crazy.
remote island where you can drop baits in 600 feet of water, like a half mile out. And there's Pacific sleeper sharks there that get to 18 to 25 feet.
Holy smokes!
So we spent 5 days on a remote island in the middle of nowhere.
Eating beanie weenies out of the can. For
Did you
5
document
days.
this? Was
Yeah,
is
it's
this
all. We're gonna post it, but we caught.
I'm looking forward to that
nothing.
video.
that is awesome. I mean,
The drone shots are unreal. I mean, you talk
Except
about
you
like,
didn't catch the shark, right?
No, dude.
but that's okay.
That's the
I mean,
letdown.
Yeah, I mean,
still
it
had the
was,
adventure.
it was unreal. Yeah, because I mean, there was the 40-foot tide swings were like you're using the boat to take the bait out, right? So like you would take your baits out.
40-foot tide swing.
Yeah, so you would set the bait out, and there's like the island comes up to this little grass piece, and obviously the water didn't come to the grass, so we're set up camp in the grass piece, and then like low tide, the water's so far away that you're like, oh, we'll set our sand spikes down there, or something like that, and it's all a rock, and so we use the boat to take each bait out half mile. It takes like an hour to set all your baits. You're dropping 600 foot, so you're not using weights anymore. You're using giant like biodegradable bags of like rocks and stuff, and then when you drop it, like you can see them drop in the boat, and then it's like count to 30 before your line hits the bottom. So you're just like
Dang.
so much lines out. And so anyway, so you come back and then you put the boat like at high tide and then you try to keep up with the boat the best you can as the tide goes down, but eventually you just like fall asleep or, get lackadaisical. And so the boat's
just sitting on
dry
rocks.
for 6 hours.
So
Yeah.
explain to me, how'd you figure all this out? Like what like you don't live over there. Like this sounds
We
like a
went
very
with-
complicated
yeah,
process.
we went with Spencer Wonder. He had been the year before, and they went for 2 days with another buddy of his, Matthew, and they went twice as like an exploratory mission. Spencer at Terraform Tackles, excellent guy, world-renowned dude. So he's taught us a lot about trying to fish new fisheries and explore
Sure.
new places. And so they went for 2 days, and it was like one day was good, the next day there was a hurricane coming. And the dude who ran him the boat the same year said, y'all better be careful because if we were anywhere else in the country, this storm that's coming would have a name to it, but they don't name storms here in Alaska. That's what he told us.
Nice.
So the first day they popped like, they catch
Makes
one
you
or
feel
two.
comfortable.
It's like a whole other world over there, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He was just like, yeah, they'd name it if it was in Alaska.
Yeah, they caught 2. I think it was a
Yeah.
13 and a 15.
Yeah, it's like a
something like
13
that.
foot
Sleepers?
sleeper sharks. And he was like, if we pop 2 in one day, there's no chance we caught the biggest fish because they get up to 25 foot via research. So he's like, there's no chance we caught the 2 biggest fish in the hole. So we're gonna go back. And then he sold us on the trip that way, and that was like the whole thing. And then we did a bunch of little stuff along the way. But
I want to
so, yeah,
go.
the problem was sitting on.
I don't know. This
the
sounds
boat.
it sounds uncomfortable.
I'm
Yeah.
not going back to the island. I don't think.
No.
No,
No.
Too sketchy. Just
Yeah,
like-
you're so if the boat's like,
if it's too sketchy for you,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I mean, it
not
was
for
another
me.
one of those like
'Cause
gas scenarios.
y'all do some ballsy stuff.
Can
Even
you
around here.
can you even build a fire?
No. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's regulation. You got to get a permit out there.
Yeah.
No lighters.
No, dude. You could probably shoot someone in the chest and someone would be like, hey, dude, clean that up. Just clean it up, bro. Out in the water and then get back to shore. Give me your hand, smack.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
But yeah, that was another one of those like gas situation where it got kind of like semi-real. Was Spencer told us like before the year before he had seen like a grizzly bear and stuff like that, and he had this story about just like grizzly bear comes up to him and he's like, oh my gosh, whatever, and he goes to spray him with bear spray, sprays himself in the face, all this stuff. Yeah. So I literally before I left, in a full panic, was pretty much like, I'm going to do this because it's probably the only opportunity I have to do this in my life, to catch a Pacific sleeper shark, maybe
Sure.
catch the biggest shark from land, whatever. And so I wrote a will and testament literally on a piece of paper. Like before I left, I was just like, I'm not sure. And there was times on the island where it's like, the boat's dry, we have 6 hours. And even like going back to the boat to get food, if Blaine slips and lays his leg open, there's no phone service, and you can't just push
Can't get
the
out of
boat
the
in the
boat.
water. Yeah,
Right,
it's just like,
yeah.
hey, dude, hold up, the tide's coming. Like, just chill out. Just
You'll be
chill
all
out.
right.
Or like a bear smacks you,
more
or
hours.
whatever it is, you run a hook through your hand where it's just semi-bad. Or anywhere else, you just be like, we got to go to the emergency room.
Right.
You know, there's no emergency
That's
room.
not an option.
Yeah, so when the first time the boat went dry, I'm like always overanalyzing literally everything. And that was the first thing I was just like, hey, Spencer, if I trip and fall and bust my head open, he's like, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you're dead.
I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Slight grin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alaska was interesting. We can go to Halibut. It's a lot more controlled. There's emergency
Okay,
room
I'm
closed.
down with
Grocery
that.
store.
Yeah,
it's cool.
you're still like in the United States.
Yeah,
right?
no boat.
Pretty
You
much,
can
yeah.
park your truck like right on the beach.
Okay,
too. Yeah.
I'm down with that trip. What?
Did that camera stop?
It looks like isn't it saying recording down at the bottom,
Stop.
I can't see.
the left?
Every time.
Let me check.
Okay, I see it now. It's right on Blaine's shirt. I just
me
looked up and I
check.
couldn't see it, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, that would have
Imagine.
that would
Got some great
Like,
audio
we got
here.
some good stuff here.
Yeah, no, that was
Okay.
some really good stories right
was
there.
really-
Like I was locked into
Yeah.
that. That was some good stuff.
See,
You
I'm
do some
worried.
crazy-
I'm worried that I'm gonna get old and I'm gonna be that guy. My
Okay.
kids are like, Dad.
Oh, tell a story. Oh.
Please stop.
But you got
telling
some,
us
but you got some
stories.
good ones. I mean, me, it's like, yeah, I got
my
some
grandfather
whiting.
has some great stories too about it. And sometimes I'm just like, all right, I've heard it.
Your kids are gonna fall asleep. You're gonna talk for like 4 more hours.
Yeah, and I went to Alaska one time.
Come sit on my knee, son. That's awesome. So you've just gotten back into this, and I want to touch on this a little bit. And you've gone through some drama and some difficult times.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what I really want to know. I mean, say what you can say. Obviously, you know we can't say a whole lot, but
Right.
I want to know more. Like, what was your mindset? Because how long did it last? Like a year.
14 months.
14 months.
I wasn't counting.
I mean, where basically you couldn't do what you wanted to do. You know, you couldn't
Yeah.
really do what you love. You know, which is a hard thing to do. So tell me a little bit about it, and tell me a little bit about like how you got through that and like your mindset in that period of time, because people can relate to that. You know,
Yeah.
people get down. You know, they go through difficulties in life, and that's a big deal that you had to experience. And now,
Yeah.
now you're fortunately on the other side of that. You're able to kind of move forward with your life, but there was basically you had to hit the pause button essentially for like 14 months. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the thing is anybody watching, anybody probably sitting at this table, everyone has been through a hardship in their life. And I've talked with a lot of people about not even this specific situation. I mean, the hardest thing you've been through in your life is the hardest thing that you've been through in your life. There's no like comparing my struggle to somebody else's struggle, because everyone's 100% worst is their 100% worst. And yeah, this past year, it was tough. There was just a situation basically where, and I never thought I'd be in a situation like this, because I'm always, like I said, overanalyzing and thinking about ways to protect myself. And I got caught just trusting somebody, you know, with a lot of responsibility that I never thought would happen. And basically all it was like you said, it was a pause button for an entire year. Legal issues, stuff that we didn't really save for, prepare for.
Sure.
So there was a lot of things we just couldn't pay for. I had to not only put, you know, my career on pause, but I had to go back to, you know, the workforce, which, I mean, I'm sure you guys watching are just like, oh yeah, you had to go back to your 9 to 5.
but it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough, man.
It was different. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
going back, it was just like, man, this is like, I swore to myself I'd never do this again.
Yeah.
And the one thing is like, if you're going through something where you're dealing with somebody else like I was, where, you know, they're being spiteful or not fair, stuff like that, the one thing that I grasped to all year, and Blaine and I went through it together, because he had to do the same thing. He took it. I mean, he was a manager at this old place. He wasn't even an owner. So he got punched in the chin, like indirectly. Like somebody hit me and then I had to hit him just because he was part of it.
Right.
Right.
And so the one thing I grasped to like all year was, no matter what they do, no matter how the legal issues go, no matter what comes of it, I'm not going to let any outside situation affect my personality. And I've got family, friends around me. I got friends from high school that were, just a lot of mentors, stuff like that. And I had some mentors that I no longer talk to because during that time they were like, dude, you could flip back around and you could counter sue them and they can't do that. That's not the right thing to do. And so you should, play this game and go spy. And I was like, dude, that's not me.
Yeah.
Like I was created to help people and I connect with people. Like that's my passion. I love fishing, but it's secondary to connecting with people. And so I'm not this year could make or break me. And if I flip my personality and go, whatever, I'm going to get out of this. And then now I'm like, I'm coming for you, man. Like, no,
Sure.
no, it's not going to be. So it took 14 months, not because of them. And I think that's really important. It took 14 months because I wasn't willing to play a game to go play dirt ball against and change who I was as a person. So I was willing to not play the dirty game, not file anything first, because in the beginning I wasn't sure what was going on, and people were like, you need to get a lawyer right now. You need to get on. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to, because I would hate for the situation to not have been that big, and then I threw the first punch, and it's like, this is what you get. So now, coming on the other side, although that 14 months sucked.
Sure.
I mean, it
I
was
bet.
horrible. I mean, it was just like sitting back, watching everybody else go, watching all of our friends like you guys just go and do great things. And I'm excited for you guys. It's not like I'm jealous now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But no, I mean, putting myself in that situation, that'd be extremely difficult.
Yeah, just the
It'd be
FOMO
tough.
was there, like the missing out stuff. And so, but it was a constant. I mean, this guy right here was a great rock. My fiance Kirsten was a great rock too, because it was like there's times where your mind you're laying in bed at night and you're like, no, dude, I'm gonna call a lawyer tomorrow and we're playing, dude. I got to get out of this thing. It's I got to protect myself. No. I bounce off these guys, and it's like, no, this is the right thing to do. And so we held our personalities until basically we lost everything.
Sure.
But I'm fine with losing everything to completely restart if it means I'm not losing my character. And that was the biggest thing. And anybody going through anything right now is like, if you are going to go through a hardship, don't come out, like whatever your goal is to get out. My goal was to get back and restart the old business, whatever it was. I can't come out as a whole different person.
Sure.
Because then everything loses its goal. Like my goal wasn't that. So that was the biggest thing, and I urge people to hold on to is just don't change your character for somebody else.
It's
Absolutely.
great advice. And life throws you these defining moments, where you have to go through something that's challenging, that's difficult, and like you said, for everybody's different, but like what you become is up to you and your mindset.
Exactly.
And that's just a hard thing. And, it's obviously, it's going to change you one way or the other.
Yeah.
Regardless.
100%.
You can either get better or you can get, bitter.
Yeah, or be in a place where you think you're better and you're actually not. You're bitter. Yeah, you're fighting somebody else's. The last thing I'm gonna do is go work my tail off to create great content and blow up on social media just to be like, ha, like that's not, who is that? You're still a little kid. And so you can kind of tell when people are we fishing side. If someone comes up and is like, and I like just an example. But if someone's like, hey man, I want to go like shark fishing, is 10-pound braid enough? And you're just like, that's like the thing is like, okay, this individual is just so far off of the topic that I'm going to have to like come all the way down. And so like, if your mindset going into something like that is just like, how can I get this dude back? Or like, how can I punch him square? It's like, dude, your thought process is so far from like, where you, not like where you should be, because who am I to tell you where you should be, but like, just like off of like a really pure, like you can tell when someone else is get in their head and stuff like that. And so I had a ton of really great mentors through this time. It's not a my thing. It's not a Blaine thing. It's not even an us thing, because I do a lot of talking with older people who've been through a lot of situations like this. I talked with Brad a lot through those moments of last year as well. And I just had a lot of people keep me on track. And I did a lot of just trusting their advice, because they've lived life and they've gone through things like I had. And so I had my reaction that I wanted to, and then I followed the advice of the mentors above me, and it's always played out. I mean, that's why I'm doing fishing in the first place, was talking with a lot of guys who were just like, if I could go back and do it again, this is what I would do. And so I just kind of do it for the most part. Think it out and like do your own path. But yeah, my goal in life is to try to better my generation, like my life, so my kids can have the next. And so I'm not telling my kids, if I went back, I would have quit my job and went for it. I mean, you're the same way. You've got a daughter, and you've got you got family. Brad's got family as well. And so like you guys can now look at your kids and go, okay, now I'm not telling you to, hey, I was an life insurance guy my whole life. And so now I'm hoping my daughter can
not that anything's wrong with that, but it's definitely not as cool.
No, yeah, exactly. Nothing's wrong with it. But I mean, now you can look at your daughter and say, go to the next step. You're not
Right.
saying if you want to influence and you want to do videos, you can do it. I wish I would have. You
Sure.
know. So you're almost skipping a stone for that next generation of kids, and that's my goal. Is to try and make myself as straightforward as possible so I can have a foundation to push my kids to the next level.
Well, you're definitely living an incredible life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a
Very
great thing
fortunate.
going.
Yeah.
Like, and so many people would want to be in your shoes. Now, it's not void of work. I mean,
No,
good
gosh.
gracious. Like, you guys.
Especially what y'all do.
Yeah, I was
What y'all
about
do
to
is
say,
plenty of work.
the hardest game in town. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, the hardest. Like, you have to work harder than any other charter. Like, from a charter fishing industry standpoint,
Yeah.
you guys are at the top as far as work.
Yeah. So like speaking of that, like when y'all run a charter, y'all usually run 4 setups? Or five?
We'll run 4 total rods. It's 2 big rods, a cast out, and then a surf rod.
And so how long does it take you to put out all 4 of those?
Set up. What do you think?
Like an hour.
An hour or so.
Everything.
Yeah,
Like
hour,
Just
hour. And a half.
kayaking back, just running baits.
Yeah. From
Like
setup
an
to
hour
like
just
sit down.
busting it.
Yeah, and then
a
you've
lot of
got
work.
maintenance throughout the night and
Yeah.
stuff like
And
that.
then you're
as well.
waking up. Most of your trips are overnight, right?
Yep. So you
So
got
you
to
have
wake
to
up,
stay up
clean
overnight.
Yep.
Maybe occasionally get a nap here and there.
Yeah, maybe just like.
And then
real
waking
quick.
up and changing baits at 2 a.m. and
Yeah,
God.
yeah, and then you gotta. I mean, you have a responsibility. There's a whole responsibility side, which almost stresses me out more than work. I can work. I was born working, and so you've got the responsibility to clean your beach. You got a public eye thing and all that stuff,
Sure.
and so yeah, there's a lot. And then on top of that, like you guys do, you want to get the shots, the content.
Right.
You got to make sure it's relatable for the people. So you've got, that's why we kind of quit filming on charters totally because I can't 100% into film and 100% in my clients.
Right.
It's way harder than people think.
It is
like
difficult.
it's hard to be
Someone
focused on.
loses,
Yeah.
and it's hard as a human to go, well, I'm gonna like make my channel suffer so I can help you guys suffer.
Yeah.
Your thing is always like, I want to get the shot or something
Yep.
like that, and then your client's like,
I know.
put the
yeah.
camera down, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Get this bait back out
Yeah,
there.
like hurry up.
you didn't quit filming on all your charters though.
No, you haven't
No.
paid us yet. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Because
Yeah.
we do have one story.
Yeah, I was about to
Which
say it's a good.
we can get
it's a
close
good
to talking
reason.
to.
See, no, that's the luckiest part is that was not a trip. We
Oh,
were with-
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
really?
were with family friends. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we talk about that too.
If that was a charter, you would not have been.
We'd
you
had
would
a
have just had
GoPro to get like a short or something like that.
But you had your big
Dude,
camera
I'd
and
have,
everything.
I'd have kicked myself and I'd have banged my head into the wall.
Okay, this should be this should be a lesson.
Never
though.
run a charter without at least having your camera gear
Have
there.
it ready.
Bring it there. Yeah, exactly.
Like just, I mean, I get what you're saying because I fell into the same thing. Like it is hard to like film and think and make it good, but like
Right.
at least be rolling. And even if it's not the greatest, because it doesn't have to be amazing if it's something. If it
that's
is
big.
something amazing.
yeah,
you
we
know
have
what
the
I mean?
phones and we bring GoPros and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes the low light is on GoPros is so bad. I think that video would have been horrible. I mean, I'm so OCD about videos anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it would have been really bad, really hard to share.
So what happened?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into
Yeah,
it.
I don't even know.
Start us from the beginning.
So,
and walk us through the situation here.
All right, which we'll title this something that people will know what it is. But you guys caught a freaking great white
Yeah.
From
off
the
the beach,
beach
like
dude.
in Alabama.
in Alabama.
What is today? Thursday?
Possibly the first one to ever. The
Yeah.
first time that's ever happened.
I mean, is there a way to look like? Is there any known documentation of a
We
great white being?
talking to researchers basically. Blaine and I talked on the phone the other day with basically the guy who films and runs Shark Week, and he was from Massachusetts up in Cape Cod. And we talked with him. We talked with Dryman at Mississippi State. We try to talk to people who are like researching and the guy John. I'm going to say his name wrong, but Dishholm. He was the guy who kind of does a lot of filming for great white sharks. And he has a huge database, and he wanted pictures of the tail so he could put it in the database because apparently they can track off the pattern, and he can put it in the database. And if he doesn't have it already, we get to name it and stuff like that. And he was like, "Yeah, I never heard Pensacola, sure, Florida, sure, but yeah, Alabama, he doesn't have any data of that."
That's
you get
crazy.
to name it.
Yeah,
the shark.
Nice.
You get to name that? Did y'all tag it?
no.
Oh.
But apparently, when you take like a picture, the tail shot that we
Yeah,
have,
it's on my phone.
like the markings on the bottom of their tail is like a unique ID.
It's like a redfish, kind of.
Interesting.
Like the spot.
Yeah.
So did y'all know this? But when you caught it,
No
did y'all know
clue.
that?
Dude was over the moon on the phone. He was like, because I was just like, we can't get pictures, but on the release, I was like, pull the tail up or something. Like, I want to, like, show me something that's
Yeah.
fish. Because on the camera, it's just underwater. And you see a dorsal fin. It looks like a bull shark for the most time, And so he pulls it up, and we just pulled that screenshot. And he was like, I can't believe you guys got that shot. Did you know about my research? I was like, no. He's like, I can't tell you how excited I am because you guys got the perfect shot of the tail. That's all I need is the tail to ID that fish. And I
That's
was like,
awesome.
all right.
Wow.
But that's why he's the expert.
That's
Like,
right.
All that
Yeah.
stuff. And I
So
was
But,
like,
well,
are we naming this fish Coastal Worldwide?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on.
Oh, y'all don't know the name yet? Y'all haven't
No,
come.
no, I haven't come up with the name
Okay, that's cool.
It's gotta be.
So you
Coastal
caught a
Worldwide.
great white. Oh, holy smokes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
walk me through like how this process went down.
I was in the kayak. Blaine's got to start you off. 'Cause
I
he was
watched
one
the
on
video,
ride. Yeah.
but I want you guys to tell the story.
Yeah, so basically the run just started off like any other tiger shark run. When tiger sharks pick up the bait, it's just a real slow roll, consistent the entire time. And it started off.
It didn't
like
sound that slow to me on the video.
No.
I heard it. I was like, dang, that's ripping.
By the
So
time-
was that slow? Is that considered slow?
No.
Okay.
It was by the time I was able to get to the camera and turn it on, he just started blowing
Gotcha.
up. Just
Okay,
started
okay.
blowing up, and then I let it eat for a little while because circle hooks are designed to go into the stomach and then come out of the stomach and set in the corner, and let him eat for a while. Set the hook, cranked into him, leaned back, and it was like pretty tight, and then it went slack for a second, and then I just reeled until it got tight again, and then it just slow loaded the rod and just started dumping line off the reel.
Yeah. That's why we thought tiger shark too, because when he started.
So you guys know most of the time, or have a pretty good idea what species it is based on
Right.
kind of how it eats.
Yeah,
and-
usually right off before we even set the hook, we have a pretty good idea of what the idea of the shark is, and
Yeah.
that's why we ID'd it as a tiger shark at first and off the first run.
Well,
We were
I
wrong.
doubt you're going to be like, oh, it's a great white. yeah,
Sure.
totally a great white.
Yeah. So
happens
what,
all the time.
What ended up happening in our mind is either he on the slack, he either jumped, which I was in the kayak. So the only thing I say he didn't jump was because I feel like it was a lake out there. I would have heard it. I mean, I feel like I would have heard a Volkswagen Beetle coming out of the water and
Right.
hitting. But he could have also just done one of those weird flips like sharks do, and his tail's just so big. But he ended up tail wrapping almost immediately off the hook set.
Let me just pause for a second and remind everyone that in this moment, Dylan's in pitch black darkness in a kayak with a bait.
I thought you were about to do like our first sponsored segment. Let me pause for a second. Today's video.
Dylan is basically a giant topwater lure that's scented in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico
Floating stick bait.
while a dang great white
Just
is
hooked up.
feeding beneath them. Like,
He got the trick
There's-
snack.
That,
he
that
didn't
was
get
your,
me.
that was your moment.
there's not very many human beings that would be okay and comfortable in that situation. But Dylan's like, yeah, no, just another day at work.
After the fact, it was definitely like, wait, can I 2 + 2?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
I've
You know,
always
that's a new one. Yeah.
I've always said that like I would be way more nervous about getting in our waters if we had great whites, and
Surprise.
evidently we do. So,
Yeah.
Oh no.
because I mean that's like most of these and great whites even for the most part probably aren't going to mess with you. You know, as long as you're not messing with them. Most sharks, you know, if you're not, you leave them alone, they're going to you're not on the menu. But like great whites are the only one that I'm like, they just decide
Yeah.
like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
they eat seals. I mean, I probably look like a seal, you know. Like,
Same size.
yeah, I know. So those do make me a little nervous.
Yeah.
So
I will have to say this. That's probably the most docile shark I've ever dealt with in my
Really?
life. I mean, just didn't let us do our thing, got him untangled and everything. Even when I was pulling him out, he wasn't trying to just thrash everywhere or anything like
Bite.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had sandbars that are far more dangerous than that thing.
How long
He
was
was like, I know the deal. Just take the hook out and let me go.
Yeah.
how long was the fight? Do you know?
32 minutes.
Okay,
32.
that's very good.
63-second release.
Well, I know. So in the video, I mean, it looks super quick. I mean, obviously you kept them in the water, which I'm assuming you probably have to.
It's a estimated 981-pound fish. Yeah, I don't think we could take it out of the water.
Jeez.
I'm not a big guy.
Yeah.
It has to stay in the water.
That's a
Everyone's like,
giant.
you did such a great job keeping it in the water. And it's like, of course, we were obviously, like, if we could, we wouldn't have anyways. But it's like, who do you think I am? Like, I'm not taking anything out of the water.
Yeah, well, I've seen y'all drag some pretty big ones, so you know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, you know, you're some pretty strong guys. I have faith in you. You probably could have done it.
Yeah, I think that's the closest fish to being an actual 1,000-pound fish.
Really?
Yeah,
So it was 10 feet.
yeah it was 10, 11. Yeah, I mean,
10
Somewhere,
oh, wow.
somewhere around
it's
there.
estimated. Yeah, and that's the same thing. We talked to some researchers,
Okay.
kind of trying to get them sizes.
So you think that's the biggest fish you've caught? Like,
weight-wise, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, we've ran some numbers on it. I mean, even like the 12'4", 12'7" tigers we've seen are probably in like the 780 to 850 range and stuff like that. And that white's in the 980 to like 1,050.
just because of the species, they're just so bulky. I guess.
dense. Oh my
Just
gosh,
so
that fish was
dense.
dense. Yeah.
Any pelagic shark is dense. I mean, Dylan, your Mako,
The Mako was
incredibly
8'3"
heavy.
and it had 450 pounds worth of meat. That's
Dang.
after we cleaned it.
Really?
Yeah. And it was only 8'3".
crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's just like they're just, but I mean it's like tuna, right? It's like the
Right.
blackfin and stuff like that. Per length and size, they're just so much. Any pelagic fish just has some density to it. So
Well, in the video, so I can hear. I guess you were the one that went down to like deal with it first,
yeah.
and I just because it's dark, and I just hear
Leader.
it's a great white, like I'm just freaking out, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, so it was like-
what was that moment like? Realize because here's the thing, like as a fisherman and what we do, like there's things that you kind of put on, like I want to accomplish this one day, and this is something I'm sure like you're like, yeah, we want to catch a great white.
Yeah,
But, like-
never thought I'd be here though.
Well, that even, but like it's so rare and uncommon that like you want to make it happen, but there's a good chance that you may never accomplish that.
Yeah.
You're in your entire life.
We've
But,
talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it prior to this event and just being like, I mean, how sick would that be? Because like Big John's over there, literally
It's called-
two
two
in
of
one
them.
day.
Yeah.
and
like-
three in like the last 6 weeks. Yeah, it's crazy.
insane.
So I'm just like, John, whatever, cool, dude. Like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
brush up against him at the
Yeah.
store or something.
But
Can I have some of that?
what's that like, man? Just walking down and seeing that. I mean, was it surreal?
Yeah,
like,
Blaine flips it first. So when I grabbed the leader, we kind of knew towards the end of the fight, since it was dead sticking the whole time. I kind of say it in the video, either it's a big foul hook tiger, or it's a tail wrapped maker that jumped. And so when I grabbed the leader, all I can see in the moonlight. I mean, it was cold. I wish I wasn't my waders. That's like a separate topic. I wish I could have been able to swim with that fish. That'd have been so sick. Like just go out with it for a while. But anyways, so I grabbed the leader and it's just like nothing. So normally you grab the leader, you feel the head shakes like you're with your dusky and stuff like that.
Right.
So there's nothing, and I can just feel the weight. And I was like, man, it is tail wrapped. This is bad. And then it's turned upside down. And so I'm pulling the shark back in, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Like this is like you guys saw all the video, and like no one's gonna see this video. Like this is never gonna happen, because I was like, this shark might be dead. And so it's like sad. And so I tell Blaine, I'm like, leader, come down, grab the camera. It's whatever this thing is. I don't think it's alive. And so we need to try and revive it. So Blaine comes down. Well, sharks upside down, they're in a catatonic
state.
Yeah. So we did a little bit of
They
research.
like fall
afterwards.
asleep.
So like sturgeon the same way. So like when you flip them upside down, like for sturgeon off of when we went to Idaho, like if you turn them upside down for pictures, you turn them upside down first, then dehook them. They just lay there. And then as for pictures, you're like, okay, are you ready? Got your camera? Flip, and then it's like. And then if it's freaking out too much, you just like flip him over, and then he's like. So when
That's funny.
that's what happened was I go down, Blaine grabs the leader, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and Blaine is like, okay, well let's turn him over, and turns him over, and it just tosses, like just starts throwing Blaine. Like, I mean, he's just like in a rodeo on it. And that's when you hear like the music break and everything. It's like, oh, it's a great one. And then it's like, to like, holy crap, it's alive. To,
So you're
holy
like
crap, it's
looking
a
at
great
it right
white.
there, still not knowing exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't, this whole series of events was probably like 5 seconds. Like it was
Right,
like,
sure.
oh no, to like flip over to like explosion.
crap,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. And
So when it was not, you didn't know it was a great white when it was upside down.
had no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was yet until like Blaine grabs the rudder's tail, and like midway flip is like, okay, there's a rudder, it's a pelagic tail, like that's a mako, it's a white, and then as soon as he flips over, it's like, oh, it's a white, like 100%. And that's when it's like, so our friends are like grabbing the camera, because I was like, bring the cameras down. So we walk down, and he's like walking around like camera shaky everywhere, stuff like that. And Blaine doesn't even cut his GoPro on until he realizes like what happened. So like when he turns it on and flips it over, starts freaking out, he's like, click, and then just starts ripping on the leader and stuff like that.
Dang.
Yeah, it was
What,
wild.
what were you using for bait for that one?
It's a Jack Crevalle head.
Just okay.
Yep. It's from that run at Navy Point out in Fort Morgan.
Yeah?
We stocked our freezers with like 12 of those things.
Dang.
Still
okay.
got some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
What an incredible experience.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The bait was caught in Alabama too. Wow.
So what
Wow.
what would top that? Like, I mean, I obviously, and there's I'm sure stuff around the world, the species, but as far as like here fishing, what could you top? that
On the
with?
shark fishing, I know where you're gonna go.
No, that would not top it. But
You
I have
think
this
so?
huge thing for a lemon shark for some reason.
Okay.
No, as the shark game goes, I think that's the apex of
That's,
apex.
that's
I
the
mean,
pinnacle.
a big mako would be cool. Like just one in like our like time and stuff like that would be really cool to get on film again. But yeah, I don't think there's a better shark. I mean, I like tiger sharks personally, like
Well,
even
sure.
better than great whites and stuff like that. And mainly because like there is like that is a really protected species. The public loves them so much, and so I mean we treat every shark the same. We do our
Yeah.
best to get them back in as quick as possible. But I just enjoy, and you can like you're just with them a lot more. I don't know. There was less pressure. There was a lot of like we wanted to get the fish back in regardless of what it was, but then there's also an added top of like everyone loves these fish. get this thing back in. You know,
Yeah,
like I
right.
could just already see all the comments being like, "We did you?"
Yeah,
you
oh,
know,
yeah.
so I was
Coastal
just like,
worldwide. Kills
yeah,
great
yeah,
wine.
exactly. So I was like, dude, that's just
That-
That'd have been a whole other news
bad
story.
press.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it look. From my limited knowledge and understanding, like it looked like y'all did an incredible job.
Absolutely,
Like getting
yeah.
that fish.
I mean, you said 63 seconds for release time.
mean,
that's,
There's a
that's
time on the video
freaking
where I
quick.
didn't even believe it was out yet because Blaine gets it when I saw it tangled in the tail and Blaine's ripping on it. I thought, oh, this is gonna take forever. Like this is like I can't even untangle like a knot as quick as Blaine was
Right.
like ripping it off, and it was just ended up just being around the weight a couple times.
Yeah, it was like over the tail, under the weight, like just like a couple times, and it wasn't.
So I
anything
came
super
to
hard at
get
all.
like the bolt cutters and stuff like that, and he was like, I think he's out. I'm like, no, he's not. Is he out? And he was like, yeah, I think he's out. And I was like, oh crap, okay, this is already done. Cool.
Yeah.
And so then that was another of like excitement because it's already like
Sure.
that didn't take very long, 30 seconds. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
That is so
as far
cool.
as topping it though, we have a 22-foot Sea Pro with some lofty goals this year, and not short on that list is a big
Blue Marlin.
big blue marlin.
out of the 22-foot Sea Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing
Speaking of crazy.
earlier. I was like, you guys do crazy stuff here. Like,
Well, when I was fishing with them a few weeks ago, when I caught the Dusky,
It's on film.
they want to take my 19-foot Sea Pro sword fishing.
We're going to put a swordfish in Brad's boat. 100%.
You guys are nuts.
Insane. Well, I mean, if I have to go if it's my boat, so
That's right. That's right.
How far out do you have to be for
It's like
swordfish?
out of the Orange Beach Pass, it's like 65,
Oh.
70 miles.
that's it.
Yeah.
I got 60-gallon tank. We're good.
We'll bring some jerry can.
You got a e-per button or anything? Like, I mean,
Right.
Life insurance, right?
Yeah.
I do
Right?
have
He does-
life
he's got life insurance.
insurance. I do
That's
have
what I'm
life
talking about. That's
insurance.
what I'm talking about.
Are you over 2 years? Because they might not pay out on
I'm
that
not
one.
over
It
2
might be like,
years,
you're,
yeah.
We may
you're-
have to consult Beach Bum here before we go too.
like, you're an idiot. We're not
Yeah.
paying.
That was just stupid.
They kidnapped me.
So, anyways, all
Wow.
life insurance jokes aside, we're going to catch a swordfish in Brad's boat.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
But yeah,
I've
I'm
seen some
down.
of your videos doing some of that crazy stuff, and
Yeah, it's
little-
definitely
little boats.
possible. I mean, guys like Chris Pasucci had a Sam's Bait and Tackle. Like that's a dude who's like paved the way to
Yeah.
do these kind of things, and there's a lot of guys like him. So I'm not trying. We're trying to like recreate a lot of really cool things. And Chris has done swordfish out of the kayak out there.
Well, right, but he went out in a boat. And
Yeah,
they-
mothership
they-
for sure. Yeah. So like it's just we want to do the cool things too, and a lot of guys have taken bay boats out and caught swordfish.
I wouldn't put it past you to kayak 60 miles out to catch a swordfish. I mean, y'all probably talked about
Who's
it.
the guy?
Literally, we've talked about.
Who's the guy out of Dolphin Island that took his bay boat out and did swordfish? Is it
I saw
Patrick?
that. Yeah, I think it's Patrick.
Is it Patrick Garmson? Does he do sword fishing? Or no, it's the other one.
Somebody took like an 18 or something like that.
I don't know.
It might have been Richard. Was it Richard?
Well, Richard has a bigger boat though.
But it was like
One
it
of those
wasn't- it was
one
an
of those
inshore boat.
guys does a lot of sword fishing, but
Ma-
did take his bay
maybe
boat.
he took his bay boat.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe
Yeah.
Richard Rutland did.
Yeah,
I think he did that last year, 2 years ago, maybe.
yeah. It was a couple years ago, but yeah, I do remember that post, and that's where I was like, all right, that's
We
cool.
can do it.
That's cool. Well, I mean, our Sea Pro is an offshore hole, so like even for those guys, that's cooler than like us doing it in the Sea Pro because that's a flat boat. So like if it does kick up in the Sea Pro, we've been out there where it's kicked up. We're 100 miles offshore, and it kicks up to 6-7 foot waves. And we're like 3 a.m. riding out like a storm that popped up. out
8
of
miles an
nowhere.
hour on the way
But
home.
we're eating it. We're good. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even worried. It was just like this is gonna take forever to get home.
It can handle it. It's just slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bay boat's different though. Like that, those guys were a whole different risk. Those waves, you're taking through the bow, punching. So
I think my biggest fear of that would, again, the boat can handle it, but if something happens to the motor, the
Yeah.
boat can no longer
Well,
handle
here,
it.
I'll put it this way: something happens to the motor, you have
Doesn't
to call
matter what you're in, I
or
guess.
Sea-Tow or Coast Guard. You get like another 12 hours to fish on the,
do.
like while
You
they're on the
can
way
drill-
out
Unless
there.
there's
They
10
see that as a
footers.
positive.
you
Like,
can drift and fish. the
Please
whole
go
time.
out, motor.
yeah.
You see
Oh,
Blaine like
man.
cutting some wires back here.
You boys are crazy. Man.
Yeah, that's intense.
That is crazy.
We've got
Well, if
2
y'all-
more pelagic fish to check off
Yeah.
in the Sea Pro for like Gulf Slam, like a blue marlin and a sailfish would complete every pelagic fish in the Gulf. Besides,
We
like,
catch
the
sailfish
occasional-
off the beach in Navarre.
Yeah, that's probably where we're gonna have to get that sailfish checked off. If not, the fads in the fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've
Obviously.
seen them and stuff like that and other like stuff like that. But we've got to do it in the 22-foot boat. There's a few more left, And if we ever get in touch with a captain who has the drop on those giant breeder bluefins in January, then we'll be doing that as well. But those are such
Well,
a
no,
sporadic.
it's not January. It's like coming up. They're about to start moving through.
Yeah.
Bluefin tuna?
Yeah. They moved through in the Gulf. See, that's the one we're not
I
going to
didn't-
put on the
I
list.
didn't even know that.
Because, yeah, it's such like, there's like 7 caught. But, yeah, they'll be like, it's the guys who found them were the
There's
sport
7
fishing
ever.
guys.
There's like 7 a year caught.
There's like 7 a year coming.
A year, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, how it got found was the guys trolling sporties, like, behind us here. They're just, when they go from rig to rig, they don't need to run or they can't run 40 miles an hour, so they might as well just go, instead of running speed at 25, they'll just go 15 between rigs and cook food and drink beer, and they'll just throw something back. And then guys were getting dumped on 130s. And they're like, what are these fish? So then they started between rigs when they were finding them, and they were catching those 800-pound bluefin tuna. Yeah.
Can you imagine an 800-pound bluefin out of the 22-foot
It would be
sea pro?
released. There's no shot at it.
They're
No.
just sink your boat.
Yeah, that's like you get in the water with it, take some pictures, and then like
Fillet and
Can't
release?
do- Those are worth like a
chunk
lot of
out of the
money, though, aren't they?
you've got to have the permitting on those things are ridiculous to keep those breeder bluefin. And the stock,
Oh, you can't even keep them.
no, there's a keep limit.
Recreational?
It's a Gulf limit of like 2
Oh.
a year. So like once 2 are caught, if
State.
they're brought back in Texas or Florida, no, it's like the Gulf of NOAA
Really?
federal fisheries.
There was 2 caught in Florida this year.
Yeah, I
and
think
then
they
there
upped
was
it to, like,
1 in
4.
Louisiana, or like 3 in Louisiana.
yeah, they brought.
I think it's
some
2
back.
per state.
You looking
per
it up?
state or something
Yeah,
like
let's see if Fish Pro or Fish Roll says something.
you
You got the pro one, my
the,
brother.
bluefin
Pro.
tuna.
that. Yeah.
Dang. So that is crazy that
Yeah, and
2 for
something-
the entire Gulf that you can keep.
Yeah, so one
One
vessel
per
limit.
vessel.
There's probably like an additional regulations
Season,
thing on there.
Additional regulations. Da, 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 da. 0 bluefin, 1 per day.
They might have changed it, or I might just.
I
be
mean,
out with it, but-
it seems
go
like
ahead.
it seems like that should be sufficient because the chances of you catching one are pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like
yeah,
Well,
no, I
what's
think
the
the
I think you're
chances?
good.
I think the thing was if there's only 50 that comes to the Gulf, they don't want them to like be fished out. But if you search, a fun thing, so talking back on the great white, if you search fish rules for great white sharks in federal waters, you can target great white sharks in federal waters. Yeah,
And
it's
keep
something
them?
we talked about.
No,
I
you
think.
can't keep
No,
them.
there are no keep, but they're a target species for sharks. So I could.
'Cause you're not supposed to target them from the beach, is that right?
Yeah, you
Yes.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in state waters and stuff like that. So we can't say we run a great white shark target from the beach.
Sure.
But if we had a boat that went out 9 miles, you actually could market great white shark charters because they're a targetable fish in federal waters. Whereas like a sandbar shark seems like such a you can't. If I said in federal waters I'm running great white shark charters, you're good. Sandbar shark charters?
Why are sandbars so
weird
protected if they're so
That is weird.
prevalent?
Oh gosh, that's a story. It's a good story though. It's a history lesson of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Y'all have an answer?
So basically, back in like the 80s and stuff, when people were doing a lot of long line fishing, sandbars have like the largest fins like for their body size. So every catch, like whether it was a bull shark or a tiger shark, they would just say it was a sandbar shark to get more money from the fins because they're larger. And so that
and
was
they wouldn't mess up their blacktip and bull shark quotas. So if you can only keep 100 a year for blacktips, if they mark their blacktips as sandbars and no one's checking them because no one really knew how to ID sharks or it wasn't as strict back then you never mess up your quotas for blacktips. So thousands and thousands of sandbars were getting checked, even if it was a bull shark or blacktip. And so then when NOAA came around, they looked at these numbers from commercial fishing over the last 30, 40 years, and they were like, dude, there's like negative sandbars. That's literally what the number said. They were
We're
like,
out of all of them.
They were in like a negative decline of like 560 sandbars, like based off population which was harvested. So they just basically said, based off of this data sheet, no, like don't touch them, don't look at them, don't, protected. And I mean, you guys, like, they're freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's because that's why the numbers are so thrown off.
I'm surprised they can't like change that now.
Well, I mean, you see what they do with red snapper.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Like
It has to become an issue.
Like
yeah.
if it's not on a reef, it doesn't. Or if it's on a reef, it doesn't count. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're all on reefs. Like,
Right.
okay.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an
They make
interesting
great
thing.
rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that, but there you go.
Yep.
Thank you for that because I've wanted that because
How can you protect such an abundant shark?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're so protected, but it's like, who gives a crap
What
about
for?
a sandbar? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
I'd like to see them harvestable because I mean, even for us, shark fishing wise, we don't even get the near amount of nuisance that like guys do offshore. They're on every single reef.
Yeah.
Everyone catches over the summertime a hook a shark, something like that. And they think it's a bull shark. 99% of the time, it's a sandbar.
Sandbar.
Shark. Yeah.
do y'all catch a lot of bull sharks?
Summertime.
Yeah, it's about to kick off in May.
it?
Like
Okay.
May will be like.
Because I didn't think we had a ton of them, but I guess we do.
There'll be a big run of female bull sharks before June and July because they're about to go pup, and so those cow stingrays are running through in May, and they're out there just feeding on
Going ham.
everything, and then they'll get big and fat and go as far as they can because they won't eat. Their food sources deplenish. They'll go way up in the rivers to pup, and then they'll pup, and then they'll eat their pups to get back to the ocean.
Nice.
Isn't that you want to talk about Noah not thinking about some things? He's just
Yeah, I
not
know.
thinking about the survival of the species, but.
Daggum.
That's crazy.
Well, I say we call it there, man. This was
Yeah, that was really
this
good.
was a great podcast.
Great
I'm glad you guys
There was
enjoyed
like
it. Yeah, I
so
enjoyed
much
it too.
information
I know.
and like just juiciness, man. Y'all
Play
drop
us
a
out.
comment.
Yeah.
It
And
makes-
if you haven't seen the video yet, we're gonna have it linked down
Yes.
below. So go check them out.
Follow
Catching
them.
a great white shark. Coastal Worldwide everywhere. Your website,
Everywhere.
coastalworldwide.com.
Yep.
If you want to run shark charters.
Coastal-worldwide.com.
I've been shark fishing with them few times. Caught a 10-foot dusky and an 11-foot dusky.
I've caught a sandbar.
Caught sandbar.
We're gonna have to get you guys out there together.
I
Yeah.
did catch a sandbar.
Yeah, we gotta go
Well,
together.
we're hoping to work something out with the Guggen Squad, so hopefully we'll have a little
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Clickbaiters
be
versus
cool.
Guggen Squad shark fishing trip.
Ooh.
here
We'll
soon,
definitely
but-
have to have you guys on again.
Have
Because
y'all-
there's more information we gotta get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can tell.
Have you ever listened to the end of one of our podcasts before?
I don't think so.
All right. Well,
Oh, I had
had
the
it
wrong
there.
thing.
You
Oh,
messed
did,
it
oh,
up,
you
yeah.
already.
You already did that? No. This is how we end our podcast.
You caught a
great white shark.
Oh wow! I thought that was music playing.
Nope, that's just me.
That's you.
If you try to talk deep, you sound like a little boy. So
Oh really?
Oh, that's the megaphone. Yeah,
Where's-
wait, it's in here somewhere.
What if you try to talk like Han? You sound like a redneck. What if you try to... Dude, where do you get these things? I know, it is so cool. Yeah, the voice of reason. Thanos. Luke. I am your father. This is so weird. Blaine's not even talking. I know. I don't even know what to say.